That's right. Yeah.
Live from John's Grill on Berry Street in Fort Worth. Welcome to the Players Club with hosts Emma Holtquist and Olivia Lee, and featuring TCU student athletes. Brought to you by John's Grill online at johnsgrill.com and by Fans Vintage, the Frog Fam's #1 source for rare and vintage TCU gear. Now, here are Emma and Olivia.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Players Club. I'm Olivia Lee, and you may not recognize the person next to me isn't Emma. It's our special guest co-host, TCU football's very own kicker, Griffin Kell. Griffin, welcome to the show. We're excited to have him on here today. He's joining in for Emma. She is away at conference championships for TCU Swim and Dive. We'll be cheering her on from here. She's going to do great. Griffin, we're going to get to know you in a moment. First, just want to remind everyone that Fans Vintage is here with us again. They're back there with their pop-up shop. Got lots of good stuff. Make sure you're checking them out each and every week. You can also look them up online, Instagram. We'll talk about them a little later in the show. Griffin, I heard you're a Fans Vintage fan, aren't you?
Yes, first time was about 2 years ago when she was first getting started. And I got a pair of purple shoes, Nike. I think she said they're Cortezes, but yeah, I bought those, and I just bought this hat, so y'all need to go check them out.
There you go. Got lots of good stuff. He's one of the first customers, it seems. And just shortly, we're going to be joined by TCU women's soccer studs, Cam Lancaster and Summer Holt. So you guys need to make sure to stay tuned. But first, Griffin, we're going to start with you. Now, my first thing is I read you're from Arlington, Texas, not too far from here. Was TCU the obvious choice for you in terms of football and the recruiting process? Kind of walk me through how you chose here.
Definitely, this was my dream school. You know, being from Arlington, my dad, grandpa, uncle, sisters all went to TCU. Always wanted to, play football at TCU, but didn't really know that I was gonna, get the opportunity. But started kicking in high school and trained with kicker Jaden Oberchrome. Kicked with him growing up. When I got to high school, legend here. Had so many records here and made some big time kicks. train with him. And then recruiting process was definitely different for me. Being a kicker, it's not like you get an offer and you go, you have all these options. So I was going to go to Houston. And then once I got the opportunity to, come here and kick, it was no brainer.
No question.
Definitely.
Yeah,
chose this
so
one,
it seems like TCU, you're leading a little bit of a legacy with your family. That's awesome to have that and bring it and continue it on with your family and everything. So you mentioned that you got into kicking in high school, you said. Did you play a sport before, maybe soccer or something like that?
Soccer was my my favorite sport, and I was pretty good at it, but then I was too slow in high school, couldn't run a lot, and then played football as well, and they needed a kicker, so I started kicking. I was pretty good.
Yeah.
So then,
well, clearly, it worked out well for you. And speaking of being a pretty good kicker, I just need to hear about your experience, the Baylor game. I feel like that really put your name on the map for TCU and just, nationwide. On live television, they're screaming your name. You just scored and, won the game for TCU. Can you walk me through that moment for you, like what that was like from start to finish?
Yeah, so, every kicker's dream is to make a game-winning field goal, to win a game. But you kind of every game that could come down to a kick, so you got to be ready. And that same game, I missed extra point and kind of cost us a little bit, and it was kind of on my shoulders that we would have won if I didn't miss extra point because we had to go for two, we didn't get it. So that drive, Max got us down the field, and Mark Tomerdal, special teams coach, came up to me and he's like, "Hey, be ready. You're gonna get a shot." And I knew I was gonna get a shot because I knew Max was gonna get us in field goal range. And then I heard bazooka, and that's we practice every Thursday, so definitely right when that happened, I kind of blacked out a little bit. You just go back to routine, and I do it every single day almost. So by the time I got out there and kicked it, it was just happened so fast. So super blessed to win in. Super blessed for everyone that's helped me get to that point in my life. Super blessed.
I was home for that game, and I just remember sitting there, like tears in my eyes. I was like, I cannot believe we just turned that around and won it. That's amazing. And I'm sure the feelings that you had after too, just overwhelming with family and friends and everyone kind of reaching out and talking to you about how amazing that kick was. Just wanted to touch on that. I had a few questions kind of about you outside of your sport. The first one I wanted to ask is, what do you think is the hardest lesson? Obviously, since you're a kicker, sometimes a lot of pressure comes down to you, like you mentioned. What do you think is the hardest lesson that you've had to learn as an athlete, whether that's on the field or off the field?
Yeah, being a kicker, it's hard because you only get so many opportunities in a game. And if you don't capitalize on those opportunities, you're getting DMs, you suck, that kind of thing. So definitely being able to block everything out, the noise and everything. And then for me personally, having confidence is what has helped me, become a better kicker. Just because for me, I feel like having confidence going out there, you're going to make a kick, that, there's no reason you should miss this kick. So that has helped me. And like I said, if you go out there and you have any kind of doubt that, you're not going to make this kick, you're probably going to miss. So just having confidence is, one of the biggest things for me.
Would you say that you get nervous at all before you go out and kick? Like, do you get the jitters like you would when you go on camera or something like that? Or you just said it's kind of habit and you just get out there and go?
Yeah, you kind of get used to it. The first kicks of the game is kind of,
shaking off the cobwebs a little bit. Yeah.
But, you do it every day. So you just go out there and do it and, rely on your technique, and everything else, happens.
Yeah. And outside of football, what is something at TCU that you're either involved in or you like to spend your time doing when you do get the chance to be on campus and do something fun?
I'm just so busy with football, but when I'm not playing football, I just hang out with my friends, go home, visit my family, fish a lot. Got into hunting a little bit after the national championship games. So just hanging out with my friends. TCU's an awesome place to be. I'm super blessed to be here, and I made a lot of friends, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and you just said obviously you're so busy. I'm curious kind of what an off-season day looks like. I talked a little when Bud and Namdi were on the show. We talked a little bit about this. I think people have this idea in your head that when you're not go during the football season, that the off-season is a little more relaxed, but sometimes the practices can be tougher, right? Do you want to kind of tell me about what the off-season looks like for you?
Yeah, off-season is just, workouts. There's no practices until you get to spring ball. So starting workouts at 6:15, running, lifting. I'm there till 10 o'clock. So, and then I have to go straight to class, then come back for lunch, then more class, and now I'm doing an internship. So I've been super busy this spring.
Yeah.
During the season, I was like, oh, in the spring, I'll have a break, be able to do fish a little bit, and hang out, play golf and stuff like that. But now I'm super busy. But yeah, just it's a grind. But you sign up for it, and I enjoy it. I love it.
Yeah.
So.
And do you feel like that balance with getting school done and your work, and then also with practice and being focused there, is that really difficult for you to get done? Or are you someone that can set all these tasks and get them done in a day? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty ahead of my schoolwork now.
Yeah.
But definitely gets hard because I get caught up in so much stuff like football and other stuff just in life. So it's hard to keep up with all your schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
I think developing a relationship with professors and stuff helps, and having an advisor to help me kind of, hey, don't forget this, don't forget this.
Everything.
So I think I'm pretty good at
well,
school.
It seems like it's
football.
working for you so far. And the final question I kind of wanted to ask you before we head to our first break is, you're a fifth year, you're doing your COVID year for football and school and everything. What is your goals that you have for yourself going into this next season? Is there something that you really want to achieve as a player, as a person, with your teammates, anything like that?
Yeah, I think for me, just getting better at kicking and, playing a lot of games and, having experience. I mean, that's going to help. But, just being better, get my percentages up a little bit, more high as I can, work on my kickoffs a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, give the next, give the next level a go. We'll see what happens. But I'm focused, next season and just being better, as a person, the mental side of kicking, I want to grow, and technique as well. So, we'll see what I can do after this next season, and it's going to have a good season.
Yeah, we're going to have a good season. That's right, folks. Well, I love learning just a little bit more about you. We're going to head to a quick break, but when we return, we will be joined by TCU women's soccer studs Kim Lancaster and Summer Holt. So stay tuned, everyone.
On the pursuit of happiness, and I know everything is shining like it's gonna be.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Dixon, the proud owner and founder of Fans Vintage. We sell rare and vintage gear for all things TCU. I graduated from TCU with an MBA in 2020 and actually started Fans Vintage as part of a class project during COVID. And now, 2 years later, we've grown from selling random vintage gear on Instagram into a full-time retail business with rare and custom gear you can't find anywhere else. This business has always been about creating a community of passionate fans and bringing people together where nostalgia and school pride collide.
We couldn't have gotten here without your tremendous enthusiasm and support. So thank you, and we can't wait to share what's next.
Stay tuned, and as always, go Frogs.
Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com.
This is Cowtown Headache Center, a neurology clinic that specializes in headache medicine. We offer standard oral medications, we offer trigger point injections, we offer multiple nerve blocks, we offer infusions both for prevention medication and for acute relief. My name is Andrew Levere. I'm a physician assistant that has a special certification from the National Headache Foundation in headache medicine. Patients are pretty shocked when I tell them we have tons of options for them and that we can do better than what they're doing. I don't just tell you, here's one medicine we're going to try. I'll give them options, and then ultimately we choose together as the provider and patient. It's very satisfying to know that we're changing people's lives.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best-tasting, sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPIDrinks.com. Live happy, be happy, drink happy.
Welcome back to the Players Club, everyone. I'm Olivia Lee, joined by my special guest co-host Griffin and Kell, and now we are joined by TCU Women's Soccer's Kim Lancaster and Summer Holt. Welcome, you guys. So excited to have you up here on stage. And I just want to give one more shout out to Fans Vintage, your #1 spot for all your rare and vintage TCU gear. Make sure to check out their pop-up shop in the back, and they will be here almost every show. You got to give them a follow at Fans Vintage Gear on Twitter and Instagram, or follow them on their website. You guys, so excited to have you on the show. This is going to be a good time. The first thing we need to talk about is the elephant in the room, or the red gloves on the table. What are these, and what do they mean to TCU women's soccer?
Oh, you got it? Okay,
All
so
right.
our word this year is to fight, and so we fight for each other on and off the field, and so we carry these around just to show that we fight for TCU soccer.
Love that message. And they don't just carry them around, they carry them everywhere they go. So if you see them on campus, ask them to pull them out, because they will be willing to show the red gloves anywhere they go. All right, let's get into it, girls. One of you is from Texas, one of you from California. Which is which? You're
Mansfield, Texas.
Mansfield, Texas, and
Sacramento, California.
Sacramento, California.
Yes.
I'm actually a Northern California girl myself.
Oh my gosh, what part?
Walnut Creek. You
Okay,
familiar?
I would play there all the time.
Okay, there
growing
you
up.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So we're right around the same area,
Yes.
and he's from Texas as well,
Yep.
right, Griffin? Yeah. So we got 2 Texas, 2 California. Now I want to start from the beginning, really, with soccer and your guys' kind of recruiting stories, how you got to TCU. Kim, if you want to start, just what led you to TCU and how much you've loved soccer here.
Yeah, so for me in high school, the recruiting process was a little different than it is now. We could start talking to colleges in 8th grade to freshman year, so I took my very first offer, and I was going to go to Oklahoma. And then a couple years later, I had the opportunity to come and visit TCU, and when I got here, I just knew it was home. It was so close to home, obviously, and just Eric and Ryan made it feel like amazing here, and the soccer program was really good, and the education was really good too. So I just knew that I had to come here.
It's awesome. And I have written down here just real quick, Big 12 all-freshman team, Big 12 all-tournament team, freshman of the week. I mean, you have all of these honors under your belt. That must be an amazing feeling. Does that kind of drive you as you started your career as a TCU women's soccer player?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today without all of my teammates. I wouldn't have any of those accolades without any of my teammates. So just the culture around TCU soccer is amazing, and I'm just so blessed to be here with everyone.
I love to hear that. And Summer, what about you? What's kind of your story of how you got here?
So I, of course, grew up in California. I don't know what it was. I just knew I wanted to go to college in Texas. I was just drawn to the people and just the environment. So I pretty much looked at all Texas schools, Baylor, UT, TCU, just all those. And something about TCU, I just came out to visit, and they saw me at a couple of my games, and I just felt that instant connection. I thought the girls were amazing. As Cam was saying, the education, everything that was offered here was just topped everything else. And then I came on my recruiting trip, and like Cam said, we were really young at the time. It was a lot different back then.
Yeah.
So I was a sophomore at the time, and my older brother, he was a senior in high school, and he came with me on my recruiting trip. And then I think we both just fell in love with TCU, and we went and met with Eric, and we were like, we committed. I don't know if that was a partnership, but that was also a big thing to know I was going to have family out here.
Yeah.
So that just kind of solidified it. But
Yeah. What's funny about us too is I have a younger brother here as well. So I know what that feels like. I mean, I'm not an athlete, but just having a family member close to you when you're at college is the best kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Griffin, you said, when did you come on your recruiting trip here at TCU?
I actually never even came on a visit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you have a completely different experience.
Yeah, but I
You
grew up
knew.
coming to games, and
Mhm.
I knew what TCU was, and if I had any kind of opportunity to come here, I was going to
You were
jump on
going
it.
to.
So
Yeah.
didn't really take a visit. I went to a couple games like as a recruit, but I didn't get an offer until like 3 or 4 days before signing day. So
That's
it happened
crazy.
last minute.
Yeah, it's interesting how young that you guys can kind of make that commitment. It's a huge life decision. I remember people in high school committing to play soccer somewhere, and it's like you never know who you're going to be necessarily your senior year. But I mean, that's amazing that it kind of worked out for you, and you seem to not have any regrets. So that's a good thing to hear. I also want to hear from both of you just how you got into soccer in the first place. I feel like everyone kind of has a person that pushes them to get into a sport or maybe a situation where you're like, oh, I wanted to play this because. Did you guys ever have that kind of moment when you were younger? Or you had it?
So I started soccer when I was 3, and I also did gymnastics. So I did gymnastics for like 10 or 11 years of my life.
Okay.
And
Two very different things.
Yes, I really did not like soccer at first. I would cry all the time. And then one day my aunt came and was like, Cameron, so you need to stop crying. And so I was like, okay, like I'll stop crying. And so I stopped crying, and I just really enjoyed it after that. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yes.
What about you?
Kind of same. I started when I was about 3, and I'm the youngest of 3 kids. So honestly, I just wanted to do whatever they were doing. If they did basketball, I was like, I'm a basketball player.
Yeah.
And then they both signed up for this soccer club, and I was like, I want to play soccer. And my mom was like, you're not old enough. And I just like made her get me cleats anyways. And then I played it, and honestly, I didn't even really like it either. I was like, this is so annoying. You just chase the ball everywhere. And then they put me in goal, and I was a goalie. I was like, okay, wait, I like this. Like, this is fun. So then I just stuck with it.
It stuck.
Yep.
Yeah. It's interesting how I feel like a lot of people that play a college sport, they're like, yeah, I didn't love it at first. I wasn't really driven to play. It's just interesting how you kind of morph into this person. You morph into your sport in a sense, which is also kind of the question that I wanted to ask all 3 of you next. I know that at TCU, everyone has different identities, communities that they're a part of. Like for myself personally, I'm involved in Greek life, and I'm involved in my journalism programs. Do you guys feel like TCU soccer is your identity here, or are there things that you are more involved in, you would say, that kind of represent you as a person on and off the field?
I can go.
Yeah.
So I feel like TCU soccer, like it's definitely a big part of my identity, but it like doesn't define me. And I feel like they've done a really good job with the culture of that program, making sure that that doesn't define anybody.
Yeah.
Like we all are our own people aside from that. So it's something that like we do and we love and we're committed to, but it's not everything we are. And I think like for me, a big one, I'm involved with FCA, which is Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And that has just really been awesome because you get to meet other athletes, and a lot of times like you're just with your sport. And so it's really fun to branch out, and then you see everybody around campus. So that's been really awesome for me just to grow in the community and grow in my faith. I've like, that's definitely been more of my identity.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is it the interactions with different teams? You mentioned that's a way that you connect with other athletes. Do you guys, like when you go to do your workouts, are you interacting with other teams, or you're just like when you go lift or something like that, you're just with your team strictly 24/7? I mean, I feel like the athletic community is a big enough community that you could engage with other team members, but it's probably hard with your busy schedules, right? Do you feel like you get to hang with other athletes and make relationships with them as well?
Yeah.
I feel like we're all so busy, so any chance we get to meet other student athletes, we try our best to do that. And for me, I like going to watch other sports games. Like I love coming to watch soccer games, and, because I enjoy that game. And then basketball, baseball, I love watching all those sports. So that's what, like how I kind of
interact. And you pay your dues, right? You go and you cheer on other teams and what they've been doing for you all season, you want to do for them. I totally get that. I wanted to ask you guys, with an all-girls soccer team, I mean, I feel like that's like, it's like being in a sorority, right? Like, what are your relationships like with your teammates? Are they like your sisters? I mean, are these are the people that are going to be in your wedding? Is that what your kind of dynamic is as a team?
Yeah, I would say that's really how it is. I think everyone does a pretty good job of keeping everything off the field, and then keeping everything off the field, and then off the field, we're able to talk to each other about anything that's going on in our life. And then it's just amazing to have people that are like that. And they're not also our teammates; they're also our friends.
Yeah. And what about you, Griffin, with the football team? How's that dynamic? Maybe with other kickers or special teams guys? Like, are they brothers to you? Really? Are you a close knit group?
Yeah, one of my best friends is Jordy Sandy. He's the punter, and I live with them and stuff like that. He holds for me, and we're best friends. And you got to have that trust in your holder. Being a kicker, like that he's gonna get the ball down, laces out. So definitely helps having a connection with him. Living with him, and we basically do everything together. So it's important, being a kicker for that. And come down to, I feel like, culture, like on the football team. Like this year, I feel like we were so close. Everyone on the team we've been through so much. So it was just kind of, a good way to, this, final class, like, Max and, D winners and stuff. We all came in together. So, doing that for like their last season, obviously I'm coming back, but for their last season, it was awesome.
Yeah. And I feel like having that dynamic off the field, it carries it onto the field and leads to a winning, strong team, as both of your sports have been great consistently all across the board. So I feel like that's super important to have that dynamic off the field as well. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit soccer specifics. You guys have been a great team across the board for a few years now. I feel like TCU soccer, I'm just always hearing, they're great, they're winning this, they're doing that. Like, it's awesome. So correct me if I'm wrong. You guys were 14-5-5 last season, 7-3 at home, and you lost in the Sweet 16 to Notre Dame, yeah?
Yes.
How was that? How was your trip to that tournament? And how did that loss kind of drive you guys towards this next season, how you're going to play differently or the same, or what you're going to work on? Go ahead,
so just the traveling to Notre Dame in general, we first played Michigan State, and it was just insane weather. I've never played in weather that crazy before. It was snowing. Everyone had like tights
How cold
on.
was it?
Like 5.
Yeah,
I don't even
it
know.
was below the 20s, and it was just crazy. I didn't have leggings on, so I was falling all over the place. But just losing that game was really hard because of how much the seniors that year have put into the program, and they've really built this program up since they became a freshman here. And so it was really sad, but it's really driven us to what we need to work on and how we can be better for our team and our culture too.
Yeah, I feel like losses can really change who you are as a player and then drive that team dynamic for this next season. I mean, I'm sure you guys are coming back hungry, wanting to win the tournament, right? That's where your eyes are at, looking forward. Is there any sort of pressure that you guys feel season to season? And Griffin, you could kind of, I'm sure, touch into this too. After being on a bigger scale stage and then having to come back next season and repeat that and do better, is that pressure always kind of weighing down on you guys as athletes? Go ahead, Summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like for us, we definitely everybody just assumed it's TCU, they're gonna win. And while it's awesome to have that confidence, it definitely, I don't think anybody was scared about the result going into say our Big 12 championship game, how we had won the year before and the year before. But then after the fact, it was just that disappointment you feel from everybody of why didn't you win? And it's it's soccer. It's not like that. It doesn't work like that. But it definitely, I think the pressure, it makes us all better. But I think more actually now, we're all very clearly driven. We know what we want out of this season.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to handle, but at the same time, when you use it in the right way and when the program helps you shape it in the right direction, then I think it definitely fuels you.
For sure. What about you, Griff?
I feel like it's a good thing when you have a good season because it sets the bar and expectations are way higher. We have a lot of new guys coming in, and we know we can play in a national championship. We compete with the best. So it's when they come in and we're establishing a new culture with new guys. That's the bar. National championship. That's what we talk about all the time, and we know that we can get there. So I think it's a good thing. But obviously, you have the kind of that pressure. But
yeah. I mean, and like you said, the pressure builds you to be a better team in the future. But at the same time, it's oh no, I don't know if we're going to have the same season or not. You just have to take it game by game, win by win, and kind of take it as it will. You'll get there. And I can understand that pressure and how it weighs on you. I had a few more questions before we had to break. So kind of more specifics of your day-to-day and team dynamic. Cam, maybe you can start. What does your day-to-day when you're in season look like, whether that's a game day, a day of training and class, that type of stuff? And a follow-up to that is, how often are you with your teammates? I mean, I feel like you guys are with each other so many hours in a day. What does that look like for you?
So a day in a life with game days, I would say I wake up and go to classes, and then we usually have walkthrough around 3, and then after walkthrough we can go home and chill for a little and then go back and then get ready for the game. But when it's an away game, we leave a couple days early, so we miss a lot of class. So we're with each other a lot, but it's awesome. I've met my best friends through TCU soccer, so it's fun.
Yeah, and I feel like that builds the team dynamic as well. The travel days, being together all the time, those things really play into your play on the field, right? Something you guys spoke about earlier that I wanted to touch back on was social media. And I know you mentioned this too, Griffin. How does social media, not necessarily even NIL stuff, but just social media in general, people kind of commenting on the way you play, whether it's good or bad, saying things about you, does that impact you when you play, or do you just kind of brush it under the rug and you're like, I don't really care what people have to say about us?
Yeah, I feel like for me, if I miss a kick, I know I'm gonna get the DMs. It's just part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of encouraging though, because like these people that DM you are just like random people and they don't
Yeah.
even know who you are, so you don't really have to worry about it. But it's it's the same people that are gonna DM you when you do good, like you're the best. So it's just like extra noise that you can't put in your head. You just kind of have to ignore. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting too because it's almost like you compare your guys to like a celebrity or an influencer on social media. I mean, just one comment that people can make over and over about the way you play or what you did in a game, and they have no idea the work that you've put in. So it's just crazy to hear about how you guys can kind of brush that under the rug. It's really impressive to hear that because I'm not sure if I would be able to do that necessarily, but I understand too the fact that it can kind of build you up and make you want to push harder, win more games, prove them wrong type thing. So I love hearing that. Well, we're going to take a short break, but when we return, we're going to talk more to these three about their lives, both in and outside their sports. So make sure you stay tuned.
T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com.
On the pursuit of happiness, and I know everything that's shining on is
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Dixon, the proud owner and founder of Fans Vintage. We sell rare and vintage gear for all things TCU. I graduated from TCU with an MBA in 2020 and actually started Fans Vintage as part of a class project during COVID. And now, 2 years later, we've grown from selling random vintage gear on Instagram into a full-time retail business with rare and custom gear you can't find anywhere else. This business has always been about creating a community of passionate fans and bringing people together where nostalgia and school pride collide.
We couldn't have gotten here without your tremendous enthusiasm and support. So thank you, and we can't wait to share what's next.
Stay tuned, and as always, go Frogs.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best-tasting, sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPIDrinks.com. Live happy, be happy, drink happy. John's Grill is the newest venture from John Bennell and the Bennell's Restaurant Group. A ranch-to-table concept featuring food, beer, and spirits from around the great state of Texas. Our menu is designed by Chef Sean Alvarez and features 2 chef-inspired burgers, the Fatty and the Flatty, plus a brisket menu perfect for your casual night out. Fast casual service in a fun, relaxed, family-friendly environment. Featuring 11 big screen TVs for you to catch the big game on. Our mixology team has created a craft cocktail and beer menu featuring local spirits and brews from across Texas. John's Grill, home of the Players Club show each week. 2905 West Berry Street in Fort Worth. Or online at johnsgrill.com.
Welcome back to the Players Club, sponsored by John's Grill. Fast, casual service in a fun, relaxed, family-friendly environment, featuring 11 big screen TVs for you to catch the big game on. The mixology team has created a craft cocktail and beer menu featuring local spirits and brews from across Texas at johnsgrill.com. Welcome back, everyone. I want to switch gears a little and really focus on you guys as individuals, if that's okay with you. First thing I wanted to ask, what is your guys' relationship like with your family, siblings, those type of things? you're from Texas, so I feel like maybe you'll have something to say about them coming a little bit more. But being from California, right? It's different with every game each week and stuff like that. Summer, if you want to start, what has that been like from you with your family seeing you play? Do you have siblings? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so I have an older brother and an older sister. We're all 2 years apart. And like I mentioned earlier, my brother went here. He graduated last May, so that definitely gave my family more of an excuse to come visit because you get 2 trips in one.
Totally.
And yeah, we're a really, really close family. Like, they're my best friends. But you probably wouldn't think so because my brother and I went all the way to Texas.
Yeah.
My sister went to Kentucky, and now she's in Tennessee. My brother's in North Carolina. So
all over the place.
It has nothing to do with trying to run away. We just want to try new things.
Experience a different life.
Yeah, but that's been awesome. And my parents would definitely just come out for some of the big games, like the home openers, the rivals, the championships. So that was definitely, I'm just very lucky to have them be willing to still come all the way out here. But they love it, and I always love having them come out here. So
I'm sure it's a good feeling to watch your daughter play college sports. So
yeah.
I'm sure they love it. Griffin, what about you? You spoke how, your family, half your family has gone to TCU. What is that like to have them now in the stands watching you play?
Yeah, it's awesome. They drive 20 minutes and they can come to a football game. And my mom and dad, sister, goes to Arkansas, but whenever, she has opportunity, she'll come to a game too. And grandparents always come. And so, yeah, it's super blessed to have everyone, come to my games. And like I said, my dad went to TCU. I have 2 half sisters. One of them went to TCU, and then my uncle and my grandpa all went to TCU. So, yeah, it's unbelievable having their support. They're Horned Frog fans. So, my dad, has been going to the game since he was little too. So have I. So, it's very cool. That I got this opportunity, and have them, come watch me and play in the TCU uniform. It's awesome.
Full circle moment for you guys, I'm sure. And Cam, what about you? Mansfield, Texas is how far from here?
It's about 35 minutes from TCU.
Okay. So similar to Griffin. And does your family come out a lot? Do you have siblings or?
Yeah, so I have an older brother who goes to UNT, which is about an hour away from here. And then I have a younger brother who's in high school. And my parents come to every home game. My mom has never missed any soccer game ever, no matter where it is across the country. She'll be there. So, yeah, it's just awesome to have a family so close, be able to come to all the games. My grandparents come to the games, and you'll know my mom's at a game and she's holding up her flag. So she's always there, and I look up in the stands and she's dancing. So
does she just hold up like a TCU flag?
Yeah, and she hands out things to all the parents. So just having that support is awesome.
Yeah, she's like the team spirit animal, right? Sounds like it a little bit. I love that. And speaking of kind of traveling to and from games, stuff like that, what would you guys say is the hardest, and we can start with soccer and then Griffin, you can chime in, hardest team to play against in terms of like the atmosphere, the crowd that's kind of tough, yelling a lot, or maybe you guys mentioned weather. What was the most difficult game for you guys in this past season?
I mean, aside from like the weather, Notre Dame, that was not fun. But I honestly would say just throughout the 3 years at TCU, I hate playing at A&M. It is not fun. They are not nice.
Okay, yeah.
It's just bad. But so going there and beating them is like the best experience. And we've done that. So as long as we just keep doing that, then we're good. But it's fun to like be in those environments that you don't like being in and then shutting them up a little bit. So.
What do you guys do to tune them out? Is it like just focusing your eyes on the ball, or is it you guys talk to each other and say, hey, don't focus on this outside, like we need to focus on the game?
I think the team does a pretty good job of always encouraging each other and telling each other, okay, don't listen to outside noise. We know what we can do. We know how to play. And so that really helps, and just keeping your focus on the game.
Got it. And Griffin, so when we had Bud and Namdi on here, I asked him a similar kind of question. They told me Boulder was their most difficult game. Would you agree with that? Or do you have a different opinion?
Yeah, I mean, that game was,
crazy.
Yeah, it was different for sure. Rain delay, lightning delay. I really enjoyed playing there. The grass was good for like kicking wise, and altitude. Sun was, going down, so that was cool, and we won, so that helped. But the loudest stadiums that we play is like playing Austin. Game day that was pretty loud. Michigan game was pretty loud. But the only place I don't really like going is Iowa State and like West Virginia because they're far, and it's just a hassle. But yeah. Those are like the only two
And
stadiums I
with
don't really
being
like
in
going
a
to.
loud stadium as a kicker, is that really tough for you to like focus when basically everyone's eyes are on you for that one moment? Do you have like a struggle focusing when people are yelling stuff? Like similar to, I guess I would compare it to shooting a free throw or maybe doing a penalty kick at a soccer game. You guys could relate maybe. Is it hard to focus?
It's just it comes down to technique, and you just do it all the time.
Yeah.
You just get out there and it just happens. But yeah, you don't really hear anything until like after the kick if it's a make. If I kick the ball and I look up and I won't even know until like the crowd's reaction. That's how I kind of know if I made it or missed. But yeah, it definitely can get loud at some points. But like I said, you just need to go out there and do your thing. It just kind of happens. I feel like that's kind of like the same for like penalty kick, or like a free shot or whatever. Everyone's looking at you.
Yeah.
We all probably practice those, so it's like
Same thing. It's like second nature. Would you guys agree with that in terms of kicking penalty kicks? Is that kind of relatable?
Yeah, I think just going up there, taking a deep breath, and then hitting your spot, and just focusing on the moment and not what's going on around you.
Yeah, that's interesting though to think about. I mean, football, soccer, basketball with free throws, those are all kind of similar, and you don't really think about that outside of the sport. But talking about it now, it makes so much sense. It's a habit for you. I mean, I don't even know what I would compare it to in everyday life, but like just like brushing your teeth, you're doing the same thing every day. You're used to it. That makes sense to me. Now, I wanted to talk about travel schedules, and you guys mentioned, having to go a few days early, those type of things. Do you ever feel any sort of displacement from campus? I mean, if you're, on the soccer field, in the training room, in the dining hall, home, or traveling, like, is that kind of what it looks like? Or do you feel like you're able to go sit on campus in the commons and enjoy a coffee? Do you guys feel like you have those times too? Or does the travel kind of take over a little bit?
I feel like definitely in season, obviously you're traveling way more. But you're also, all of your best friends are the people on your team usually. So even when you're off campus or like in a different state or anything, you're still with all your best friends.
Yeah.
So you have that connection still. But I feel like overall, like I like to go to Chick-fil-A. I like hanging out in the commons. Like I don't know, you make the most of your time when you are home and then when you're gone again, like you're with all your people. So I personally never really feel a huge disconnect, but
What about you, Cam? Any sort of disconnect, or you feel the same?
No, I agree with Summer. I think when you're away from your home here, you're still with all the people that you're comfortable with, people that you can talk to, so it doesn't feel very much different.
Okay, that's good to hear. I mean, I was just curious because I feel like when you guys are always traveling and going around a lot, it's hard to establish yourself as a student at TCU, especially when you start freshman year, right? People usually take freshman year to adjust and get to know people. But then when you think about it, you guys have that built-in friend group when you come, right? You have those teammates, people you can rely on. So that's an interesting perspective. And then we talked about a little bit balancing school with travel. And Griffin mentioned this about having a good relationship with your professors. Did it take you guys a while to get to that point to be like, I got to go again, I'm going to have to turn this in late or take this test a different time? Or are teachers very understanding here of those type of travel trips and stuff?
I think professors here are very understanding just when you tell them at the beginning of the year, hey, I'm on the soccer team, I'm going to miss some of your classes, and they're really understanding with turning in work and doing assignments and things like that.
Nice. And talking kind of after college, what are each of your aspirations? Do you have any? Do you kind of know what you want to do? We haven't really talked about majors yet either. If maybe you guys want to share what you're studying right now, and then if that connects to what you want to do in the future, or if it's soccer and football, kind of share that with us. If you want to go down the line, you can start, Cam.
So after college, I'm a strategic communications major right now,
Cool.
but after college, I want to play professional soccer, whether that's overseas or in the U.S., it doesn't matter. But that's what I want to do after college.
Awesome. What about you, Summer?
I'm also a strategic communication major and then entrepreneurship minor. And for me, I don't necessarily want to go play pro, but I would love to stay involved with sports. I just recently have realized how big of a part it is of our lives and why not stay connected in that industry. So definitely something along the lines of sports, ministry, anything I can do with those two tying together. But just, I feel like you make so many connections by doing this, and this is our job. So
Yeah.
why not take that through with me? So
And a follow-up question I had for you, you've talked about FCA a lot, how you're super involved. That's awesome to hear. is there someone that got you involved on the team maybe into FCA, or how did you kind of stumble upon that avenue that's now become such a big part of your life?
Yeah, I in high school I was involved in FCA too. And then I remember I asked the coaches if they had it here when I was on one of my visits.
Yeah.
And they put me in touch with Peyton Cruz, and she actually took me to FCA one night, and both the two leaders, Chauncey and Coleman, they both came running up to me and were like, "I love you." I was like, "Okay, wait, I think this is going to be really fun." Like, I love it. And it's just been that same consistent energy ever since. It's just been awesome. So that definitely was how I got into it, and something that I'll definitely take with me after too.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I was involved in FCA when I was in high school, and I just remember it really gives you almost like a center point to rely on whenever you're going through things in school, and you're an athlete too. So it's like you've got two lives you're balancing. Having that as your centerpiece, I'm sure, is amazing for your college experience. Griffin, what about you?
I'm definitely gonna try to give the next level a chance, give it a go. But probably, we'll see if it works out or not. But I'm a criminal justice major. I graduate in the spring, and I'm gonna come back for one more season and get my master's in criminal justice. I don't really know what I'm gonna do yet, but I would love to be a game warden. Love the outdoors, so maybe I can get there one day. But we'll see.
What got you into criminal justice? That's not what I expected from you.
I just like being game warden would be cool. Park ranger would be cool.
Yeah.
Didn't really know what else to choose, and I enjoyed criminal justice. About law and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's kind of why I chose that.
Got some good professors for you here too. I took a humanities course that I could get as a little credit, but it was very interesting. I mean, there's a lot to learn there, and a lot of things that you can do with it. We were discussing before the show too, and you just brought it up, how much sports is involved in your life and how you want to tie those things into whatever you do after college. Do you guys struggle maybe that if you were to lose the sport, if you were to say that you could never play soccer again, or you could never play football again for whatever reason it was, do you feel like that you would lose a piece of your identity? Is that something that you want to bring with you, like no matter where you go? I know you mentioned it, Summer. What about you, Cam?
Honestly, I love soccer, but it's not all of me, and so I would still want to be involved in soccer if I could never play again.
Yeah. No, of course.
But
yeah,
I think soccer is a big part of me, but it's not me completely, and so I would want to take it with me wherever I go.
And Stratcom, what interested you in that? And maybe there's a lot of different things I feel like in Stratcom that you could relate to soccer as well. I don't know how it works with signing with teams and kind of agency type deal. Is that something maybe you'd be interested in, or?
Yeah, I would be interested in that. And Summer actually got me into strategic communications. I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and so when she explained what it was and what you can do with it, just sounded really fun and something that I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. Love that. All right. Well, we've learned a lot about their personal lives here, and we're going to learn just a little bit more after this quick break. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be right back.
T-Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student-athletes. Flying T-Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T-Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student-athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student-athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T-Club or online at flyingtclub.com.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best-tasting, sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPI Live happy, be happy, drink happy.
On the pursuit of happiness, and I know everything that's shining is
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Dixon, the proud owner and founder of Fans Vintage. We sell rare and vintage gear for all things TCU. I graduated from TCU with an MBA in 2020 and actually started Fans Vintage as part of a class project during COVID. And now, 2 years later, we've grown from selling random vintage gear on Instagram into a full-time retail business with rare and custom gear you can't find anywhere else. This business has always been about creating a community of passionate fans and bringing people together where nostalgia and school pride collide.
We couldn't have gotten here without your tremendous enthusiasm and support. So thank you, and we can't wait to share what's next.
Stay tuned, and as always, go Frogs.
This is Cowtown Headache Center, a neurology clinic that specializes in headache medicine. We offer standard oral medications, we offer trigger point injections, we offer multiple nerve blocks, we offer infusions both for prevention medication and for acute relief. My name is Andrew Levere. I'm a physician assistant that has a special certification from the National Headache Foundation in headache medicine. Patients are pretty shocked when I tell them we have tons of options for them and that we can do better than what they're doing. I don't just tell you, here's one medicine we're going to try. I'll give them options, and then ultimately we choose together as a provider and patient. It's very satisfying to know that we're changing people's lives.
Welcome back to the Players Club, everyone. I'm joined by Cam Lancaster, Summer Holt, and Griffin Kell here on our stage. We just have a little bit more to talk about here. Now, we've been doing a segment every week. I call it Locker Room and Pregame Rituals. I want to hear, and I feel like women's soccer is going to have some good ones to share with me. First question I have about it is, what are you guys listening to pregame in the locker room? And what's your walkout song when you guys come out for warm-ups? If you know it.
I mean, we listen to a lot of different things. We try to hit everybody's favorites for sure, but it's definitely like you fall into the routine. You're like, oh, I heard this song. That means this one's coming up in two more.
Yeah.
But we do a couple of dances. We like the K-Wang.
Okay.
We like Stick It and Roll It. We like a lot of them. But those are like the main, you just save them for like the last 10 minutes. So,
Yeah.
And the walk-up song, I was telling Cameron, I think mine is Big Energy.
Big energy.
It's really fun.
Love
and
that.
They play it in our warm-up too.
Yeah.
So as soon as that starts, then I'm like, today's going to be a good day.
When you guys arrive to the stadium, is everyone kind of in focus mode? I mean, I know I've seen football on the bus. You guys are like silence with the headphones on. Or are you guys kind of chatting it up, like more light, calm vibe? What is it like in that locker room pregame?
I think it's a mix of both. When we get to the stadium, we have our headphones on and we're just trying to get in the mood to play a game. And then after, we all come together and dance with each other and sing with each other. And it's just a good environment before we get onto the field.
Yeah. We spoke to TCU Beach volleyball girls last week, and they were saying that they play Cotton Eye Joe before they head out onto that sand, which I thought was so interesting, so random, but fun. You know, they're jumping around, doing that whole deal. Griffin, question for you. What is your go-to pregame song yourself that you're listening to before you head out on the field?
I don't really have one, but
Okay.
I like country music, so that's what I listen to. You know, just chill music.
Yeah.
That's really it.
So you're more of you don't want like that hype up energy. You want to be calm before a game.
Yeah, I like to be calm and, just be relaxed.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
then-
meditate a little.
Yeah.
Get in the zone.
When I get out there, that's when I just,
Yeah.
focus, So.
And are you guys superstitious at all? Do you have a certain pair of socks you wear, a headband maybe for soccer, hair tie, anything like that? Any superstitions at all?
I don't think this is maybe it's a superstition, but I always wear my hair in 2 Dutch braids before we play a game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's.
Do those ever whip you in the face when you're running and bother you at all, or no?
I don't think so. I've noticed it before, but
Okay.
maybe I'll notice it now.
Yeah, now that I said
Yeah.
something. What about you, Summer?
I have done my hair the same. Like, I don't even remember the last time I did anything different, but I don't even think it's really superstition. I just like it.
Habit, yeah.
But I do shotgun a Red Bull before every game in the locker
Really?
room, but only the 8 ounce because I don't want to
That's tough.
But it works.
Yeah, it keeps your
So
energy
I like
up.
it. And I only have one more season left, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Gotta
stick
have
with
one
it.
more.
Yeah.
What about you, Griffin?
I don't really have one, but only thing I can think of is socks. I guess it is. I like one pair of black socks, one pair of white ones, and the same ones all season.
Okay.
So that's kind of.
And even if they get disgustingly dirty and you can't get the stains out?
I'll wash them.
Yeah.
But
Has to be the same ones.
Yeah, same ones.
Love it. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I was an athlete when I was younger, and the hair thing is interesting. I feel like you just go to that hairstyle for your entire career, which is crazy. But if you were to like throw a headband in there, it would be weird, you know? I was just curious how you guys wear. So Dutch braids, and what do you do in your hair? Like ponytail or something?
I do a ponytail and then I
Ponytail.
braid it.
Braid it.
Yeah,
Cute.
it just whips around everywhere.
Yeah, the hairstyle is important, and then you guys wear the same uniforms every time, right? And there's no like special socks. You guys have your own cleats though, or do you all wear the same cleats on the team?
We all have our own types of cleats that we wear.
What color cleats we got?
I used to have black cleats my
Okay.
freshman year and my sophomore year, and then I changed to studs, and they're like a teal color.
Ooh, fun. What about you, Summer?
Usually I just go for the black cleats.
Yeah, simple.
And also like goalkeeping, our goalkeeper coach loves the black cleats, but they only had the pair that I liked in like rainbow this year. So it's like
So
teal,
rainbow it
pink,
is.
yellow. Yeah, it's all
I
of
love
it.
the fun
It
colors.
feels different, but it's
Yeah.
fun.
What about you, Griffin?
So kickers wear soccer cleats.
Yeah.
What cleats do y'all wear? Like what? Obviously Nike. It's Tiempos.
Tiempos, yeah.
Okay.
Tiempos.
Mercurials.
Tiempos.
Vapor. Something like. There's so many.
What do you wear?
I wear the ones that have the sleeves on them. I don't know what
Okay,
they're
like the little
called.
sock things.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm Tiempos.
Yeah.
That's they just came out with some new ones. But
Sounds
it's hard.
like those are the best if she's wearing them
It's
too.
hard. Like the new ones, they don't have like black and white. They have all these weird colors. So like
Yeah.
none of them can match the uniform.
So you guys don't really like the color then, it's just more of like what they have.
kind of, if I get picked, I'll do white or black.
Yeah.
But like the new ones, they have black ones, but then there's like green and yellow, and it's like I don't know.
I was curious about that because I thought you guys were choosing to wear those bright neon teal colors, but no,
That's
you
just the ones
prefer
I
black
make,
and white.
yeah.
Interesting. All right, the final question I had before we do our little hot seat is kind of about social media again, but NIL specifically. That's become a bigger thing in athletes' lives in college. Has that guys had an influence on you guys at all, or the amount you're posting maybe on social media, or the type of events you're doing, things like that? You can go ahead, Summer.
Okay, I mean, I feel like a big part of it, like even something like this, just more making connections with the community.
Yep.
For football, it's probably a little different, but for sport like women's soccer, I feel like the main connections that you're going to make and the deals, they're a lot more community tied, which honestly has been really cool, like being with you guys, and then also like Riff Ram Vintage.
Yeah.
Quite a few of us have a partnership with them, and that's just been awesome. They're just the best. And just finding like little different ways to get plugged into your community, whether that's like being with younger athletes and like helping out at camps. That's where I found most of it. But I think definitely overall, you just really, with your social media, you want everybody to know like who you are. So it's, I don't think a lot of us focus on it like a ton because you want to be genuine, but just being genuine in that way, presenting yourself for who you are, what you want to be. So
Yeah, that's an awesome take on it too. I mean, it's not a pressure thing. It's like you get to make more connections and you get to meet more people. And Griffin said that earlier to me as well when we were talking about it. That's its purpose, right? So I'm glad that it's serving the purpose for you guys in all of your athletic careers. All right, the last little segment we're going to do is hot seat. So I'm going to ask some random questions and we can just go down the line. Y'all answer it. If you have a little explanation to go with it, you can, don't have to. The first one that I had is, if you could trade places with any pro athlete in any sport, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh.
Griffin
I would
knows.
pick Max Homa, professional golfer.
Okay.
He's just funny and he's awesome.
You want to be funny for a day?
yeah, and I'd love to golf for a living.
Yeah,
That'd
there
be
you
cool.
go. Cam, Summer?
I would say Julie Johnson. She's Julie Ertz now. I just love her. She's who I want to be as a player, as a human. Her husband is adorable. Their family is adorable. I love her.
Story is that Julie Ertz's husband's younger brother went to like my rival high school, grew up in my town, dated a girl I danced with. So they were around us a lot,
You should
actually.
probably get to know him.
I really
Yeah,
should.
take
Then maybe I
advantage.
could connect you with him. What about you, Cam?
I would say Messi because I just want to feel what it feels like to have that good of skills in a soccer game and that like composure in front of goal. I would love to feel like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone would like to be messy for a day or two and just have that build energy and all those skills that he has. Now, the next question I have is, who is the most famous person in your contacts right now, if anyone? I think Griffin has maybe a few to come to mind.
I'd have to look, but I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head. Maybe, I guess it would be Max.
I was
now.
gonna say Max
Call me
Duggan,
Max.
maybe Coach Sonny Dykes, one of the two.
Yeah, I have Dykes.
Yeah.
Coach P. So probably one of them three.
A few of those. Summer, Kim, any soccer players maybe?
Jenna Weinbrenner and Messiah Bright. I have them in my contacts list.
Hey, Messiah Bright is a very famous TCU soccer player and becoming well known around the world. So there you go. Summer, maybe the same.
Yeah, kind of same thing. Add
Yeah.
Yasmin Ryan in there. That's about
There you
as cool as we get.
Hey, that's pretty cool. That's cooler than me, that's for sure. All right, I asked you guys about your craziest fan base. I'll skip that one. This question's interesting. If there were 25 hours in the day, what would you spend that extra hour doing?
Probably sleeping.
Sleeping.
You go.
He's thinking too.
Yeah, I would say sleep, but I don't really like to sleep because I like to do something. But probably just one of my hobbies, golf. Hit the range or something like that.
Yep. Summer.
Honestly, I feel like my first thing would just be watch a movie. I just like watching movies, but I would try to be sentimental and be like, hang out with my mom.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Hey, at
That's
least you
what I'm
threw
gonna
that
go
in
with.
there.
Yeah.
All right, the last question that we have. This one can be a hot take for people. Would you put pineapple on pizza? Yes or no? Griffin's saying no.
Absolutely not.
Why not? You don't like pineapple, or you just don't like the mix?
It's not bad, but why would you choose that over a normal topping? It
Fair.
just, I don't know.
Fair. Summer, Kim, you guys agree with that one?
Yeah, I would agree, but I've never tried it before, but I'd be open to trying it, but not as something I get every single time.
Pineapple on pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a no for me. I'm like, you can put literally anything else on it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's awful, but it just makes it soggy.
Yeah.
And I just don't think pineapple.
They go well together.
No.
Yeah. So we're batting about almost 100% with every guest has said no, although I believe Namdi was the only one that was somewhat open to it from TCU football. So we'll have to hear back from him if he still agrees. Maybe he's eating pineapple on pizza every day. I'm not sure. All right, guys, it was lovely to be joined by the three of you. Griffin, my co-host, our two guests, Kim Lancaster and Summer Holt. Thank you guys for coming on the show. We appreciate you so much. And I just want to remind everyone that we're going to be here every Thursday at 6, John's Grill. So make sure you're tuning in here live or watching our live stream on frogstoday.com. You can also follow us at Frogs Today on Instagram and Twitter. Again, my name's Olivia. So happy to be with you here, and we'll see you next week.